Did you know Godzilla doesn't even make it into the top 100 largest creatures in fiction? At 355 feet tall, taller than the Statue of Liberty, Godzilla is genuinely enormous. But fiction has gone so much further than that. We're talking creatures that don't just dwarf cities or planets or solar systems. We're talking creatures that make galaxies look small. In this video, I'm counting down 7 of the largest creatures and characters ever to appear in fiction. And every single one has to be at least bigger than a galaxy to even qualify for this list. So, let's get into it. Number 7. Super Shenron from Dragon Ball Super. Let's start at the bottom of our list. Relatively small, and I use those words very loosely. Super Shenron is the wish-granting dragon from Dragon Ball Super, summoned when all 7 Super Dragon Balls are gathered. Now each of those Dragon Balls, already the size of a planet. But when Shenron himself arrives, he doesn't just fill the sky. He stretches across the space between 2 entire universes simultaneously. Multiple galaxies span across his body at once. His eyes alone are bigger than individual galaxies. Our Milky Way is 100,000 light-years across. 1 light-year alone is about 6 trillion miles. And that entire galaxy, 100,000 light-years, fits comfortably inside one of Super Shenron's pupils. He is, without question, the largest eternal dragon in all of fiction. And he's our smallest entry today. Number 6. The Marble Alien from Men in Black. If you've seen the original Men in Black, you might remember the ending. The camera pulls back, and keeps pulling back, through New York, through the atmosphere, through the solar system, until we're watching something completely unexpected, a giant alien hand, picking up a marble. Inside that marble? Galaxies. Multiple galaxies. Our Milky Way is one of several being tossed around in this creature's game. Let's do the math on this. If the Milky Way, 100,000 light-years across, is the size of a marble, roughly 1 inch wide, then this alien is scaled proportionally to be several 100 million light-years tall, minimum. And judging by the number of marbles it's holding, it probably doesn't even know there's life in any of them. But here's the part that really gets me. From its perspective, our entire history, every civilization, every war, every moment a human being ever looked up at the stars in wonder, that's just the swirling color inside a toy. Number 5. Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann from the anime series. Now we move from creatures that hold galaxies to a robot built out of the universe itself. Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann is an anime series that starts humbly. A small boy piloting a tiny drill robot underground, but it escalates. Boy, does it escalate. By the final battle, the protagonist Simon combines the willpower and fighting spirit of his entire crew into a single entity. Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann. Not a planet, not a solar system. A mech made of pure spiral energy, condensed emotion, determination, and will given physical form. The official creator guidebook states that Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann is 10 to the power of 25 times the size of the original Gurren Lagann robot. Based on calculations from these official figures, estimates place it somewhere between 5 billion and 158 billion light-years tall. The observable universe, everything we can see from Earth, is 93 billion light-years in diameter. This robot is bigger than the sky. Every single galaxy, every black hole, every nebula within our entire observable universe could potentially fit inside its body. Each footstep it takes covers more distance than the width of a galaxy. And this isn't even the biggest form. Number 4. Super Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann from the anime film. In the movie adaptation of the same series, the crew's power evolves one final step further. Super Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann. If the TV series form could contain the observable universe, this form laughs at that. Conservative estimates put it at 52.8 billion light-years, still definitively larger than the observable universe. More generous calculations, based on the actual proportions shown on screen, put it in the range of 10 trillion light-years. But here's the number that breaks my brain. When Super Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann transforms for its final attack, the Giga Drill Break, the drill alone is estimated at over 200 trillion light-years long. Not the robot, the weapon. The drill is over 2 million times wider than the observable universe. And the moment that drill fires, it travels 100 trillion light-years in under 2 seconds. This is a children's cartoon, by the way. They just decided to make the final robot bigger than comprehension itself. Number 3, Yog-Sothoth, from H.P. Lovecraft's Cthulhu mythos. So far, every creature on this list has had a shape. Something you can draw. A dragon. An alien. A mech. The next two are different. They ask a question that's harder to answer. What if the creature doesn't exist in space, but is space? Yog-Sothoth comes from H.P. Lovecraft, the author who essentially invented cosmic horror in the early 1900s. Most people know Cthulhu, but Yog-Sothoth is the concept that genuinely haunted even other characters in the stories. In Lovecraft's writings, Yog-Sothoth is described as coterminous with all time and space. Not large, not infinite, coterminous, meaning it occupies the exact same space as all of existence, simultaneously. Every universe, every parallel timeline, every possible reality that has ever existed or ever will. All of it is part of Yog-Sothoth's being. It's described visually as a writhing mass of iridescent globes, each globe a different universe or timeline, all of them together forming a single, ancient, aware consciousness. You can't travel away from it, you can't escape it. Everywhere you go, you're already inside it. Every creature on this list, Super Shenron, Super Tengen, Toppa, Gurren, Lagann, they all exist within Yog-Sothoth's body without knowing it. Number 2, the Primal Monitor from DC Comics. This one requires me to ask you something first. When you read a comic book or look at a panel, what is the white space around the drawing? In most comics, it's nothing, just the page. But in Grant Morrison's DC Comics work, specifically the Multiversity saga, that white space is alive. It's called the Primal Monitor, the Overvoid. Here's the concept. The entire DC multiverse, 52 parallel universes, each one tens of billions of light years across, plus countless alternate dimensions, pocket universes, and cosmic planes, all of it, everything DC Comics has ever published, exists as a single tiny microscopic germ on the surface of the Primal Monitor. Not inside it, on its surface, like a speck of dust on a blank white page. The Primal Monitor itself is an infinite white void. It had no awareness until the DC multiverse appeared as a dark smudge within it. From the Monitor's perspective, Yog-Sothoth, Super Tengen, Toppa, Gurren, Lagann, and every single entry on this list are all part of that tiny microscopic germ, too small to see without effort. Morrison was essentially writing about the nature of fiction itself. The story is the creature, the page is the god. Number 1, the Leviathans from Doctor Who. And finally, the creature on our thumbnail. From the expanded Doctor Who universe, specifically the Faction Paradox novel series, come beings simply known as the Leviathans, also called the Swimmers because of how they move. They were here before the current universes began. They don't live in space. They swim through the void between realities, the empty expanse between universes, the way whales move through an ocean. Except their ocean is the gap between existence itself. A single Leviathan measures approximately 150 quadrillion light years in length. Let me say that number out loud. 150,000 trillion light years. The observable universe is 93 billion light years across. The Super Tengen Toppa Giga drill, our previous record holder, is estimated at 200 trillion light years at best. A single Leviathan is roughly 750 times longer than even that. And when a Leviathan swims through the void between realities, universes, whole, complete universes containing billions of galaxies, pop like soap bubbles against their sides. Not destroyed by a weapon, not consumed. They just burst on contact, the way a bubble bursts when it touches your skin. So there you go. We started with Godzilla, 355 feet tall, one of the most iconic monsters in history, and he couldn't even get through the door. We went through a dragon whose eyes contain galaxies, an alien using our entire history as a marble in a game, two mechs that make the universe look small, a Lovecraftian god that simply is space and time, a cosmic entity that considers an entire multiverse a speck of dust. And finally, a creature so enormous that our universe, the whole thing, is just a bubble that pops on contact without it even noticing. Fiction is wild. Which one absolutely destroyed your sense of scale? Drop it in the comments. I want to know which entry hit the hardest.